Hello, welcome back to Brit Reviews It All. So today I am coming back with a video reviewing TM2. The episode is titled Under My Roof, I believe. Yeah, Under My Roof, Season 11, Episode 8. So again, I took notes. If you are interested in these videos, please like, subscribe, leave comments, and any suggestions on any shows that I should review or should take a look at, please let me know. I love reality TV shows. I love TV, movies, you name it. I'm very much into those things. So just let me know and I'll take a look when I get the time. So starting off with the episode, it starts off with Ashley showing some pictures of her for her salon opening with her friend, her business partner. So that's really great that she was finally able to do that. She They move on into showing the scene where Ashley is with her sister. I cannot remember her name at the moment. She's with her sister, and she also has Holly with her, and they go on, like, it looks like a little brunch date, and they were just sitting down catching up. It was really cute. And also, Ashley brings up the talk about getting the COVID vaccine. So she was just, saying about her mom's reaction to her mentioning getting it, and just, pretty much saying, like, hey, at the end of the day, this is what I feel is going to be best for me and my family, and what I need to do, for the things that I have coming up. So I have to think about those. I can't be concerned with everybody else's fears or concerns about this vaccine. Personally, she's speaking for herself. I I'm going to go get it. I'm scheduled an appointment. I'm gonna go get it. Then they move on to Kale. So it comes up about it just showed, like, where she made, like, a little comment about Chris, the third baby daddy, having starting a new family, having a new baby, and it just showed, like, a screenshot of her making a comment about it. So then she pretty much, you can, it just, from the way that they showed it, I mean, they can only show what's given, but it looked as if she was really just kind of irritated about the whole thing. Um, and she made the comment that she just wish, pretty much just saying she wish he would just go on somewhere and just leave the two kids alone and just not even have to deal with him in any any way regarding the children, which I think that's a bit unfair. I mean, I feel like even if he's not the easiest parent to deal with, you still need to, try for the sake of the kids to allow them to have that space. But let me be clear, I do understand from her point of view, the in and the out, barely there, in and out like that. When you, for your children, you would want them to have that consistency. It's a deeper story there, but just my thoughts. So let's see. Moving on, they move on to where they go back into Brianna's scene. She's just pretty much saying that she still hasn't heard anything from um, Lewis in regards to Stella, anything, even though she sent the text message to the mom, she talked to the dad on the phone at that point, she still hadn't heard anything from him. Um, it's very interesting to see how Stella has a certain reaction towards Devon versus her own dad, but you can sense, and just in the things that she say or the way she'll act, that she it seems like she wants to be able to say, I want to talk to my dad, or I want to see my dad, but it's like a hesitation is there. And that's for her to be so young and to already be doing that, that is very, very it's sad. It really is. But I do like that Brianna, she still tried anyway. They called Devon, he answered because Stella wanted to talk to him, and you could just see how happy she was. She lit up, and then she was like, let's call your dad. And so she called, but he didn't answer. But at least she tried. And, you can say on Brianna's part, she does try, from what we see. They move on into Leah. Uh, they pretty much say or showing that Jalen was actually able to get closer to where she is in Charleston. I'm not familiar with the area, but apparently it must be a pretty decent. Um, it's not so bad to the point where they can continue to grow their relationship. So just happy for Leah. You know, she's dealt with a whole lot from what we've seen over the years, and she's grown a lot. And just to see her get into going into that space of a complete happiness, that's really good to see. Really good to see. They move on to Jade. Jade and Chloe, they are back at home, so they are showing them in the car, and you it's a good thing that Chloe asked about her dad, but it does suck, you know, that she's having to experience this. But the hope is for on in the future that this will not have to be a scenario that she's in the middle of in the future. So her asking for her dad, that's so cute. You know, you can clearly tell that she loves her dad. She wants to see him. She wants to be around him. Um, she's, I mean, it pretty much is just at a point where at this, at this time, at this point, you are pretty much just seeing like, okay, so Jane and Sean, they have to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this moving forward? How is that going to look? What are the steps that they both need to take to make sure that they stay in a good place, um, personally for themselves, then for the relationship, and also for their child? What is better for the child overall and themselves personally? So they have a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, before just him coming back home and just jumping straight back into it. I mean, it just can't be that way. They have to tread lightly on that and not move too fast because you want to see them be successful. I mean, you don't want to see a family broken up like that. It just is it's terrible. But I really want to see something great come from where Sean is at this point, and hopefully they'll continue to just do better. Um, let's see. She did mention that the reason that they hadn't talked about those things yet is because Sean's counselor suggested to hold off on that conversation for the sake of his treatment. You just don't pretty much don't want to put that type of pressure on him to be dealing with that right at that time. Let him get through where he's at right now, and then when that time comes, now let's talk about it. Let's figure out what's the next steps. Okay, so they move on, going back into Ashley picking up with her, and she is calling her mom to let her know that she is scheduled to go get the vaccine. Her mom is immediately like, no, we don't do that. And Ashley pretty much just had to put her foot down to let her mom know. I mean, thank you for your concern. However, on her part, I will need to get the vaccine for these reasons. Um, we find out that I believe that's her name, her mother's name. She is very much against vaccines. Period. It's not just COVID; it's just vaccines. She's just not there for it. So that gives a little bit more understanding as to why she's so hardcore against the COVID vaccine. Um, it's a personal preference. I mean, you can't tell a person what to do and what not to do. So you pretty much just have to leave it up to that individual. For Ashley's standpoint, I totally understand with her having that new business. She needed to get felt that she needed to have the vaccine in order to continue with her business. And she put a lot of money, energy, and effort into it. And so she wants to make sure that she's, doing what she's supposed to do on her end to be successful in the future. Um, Also, she's pretty much stating that for her, with her dad being not in the medical field, but going to school for, I can't remember if it's for a nurse or a medical assistant, one of those. She's really more so on the science part of things, and that's her prerogative, and that's okay. I don't see what's so wrong with that, but you know parents, they're going to have their feelings, and Ashley just had to put her foot down and say, this is what I'm going to do as an adult in my household. So nothing wrong with that. Let's see. They go over into, it's supposed to be Kale, but they show Chris, and I was just like, now, at first, from what I'm understanding, you were so against being filmed. You didn't want to have anything to do with the show, barely anything to do with Kale, issues with being there, with having access to your children, things like that. But now we're starting to see him a little bit more in this season. And I'm curious to know why that is. Just saying, you know. All I'm gonna say, if it wasn't for Kale, you wouldn't be on the TV on MTV. Just saying. Anyway, it was, it's interesting for him to say that he feels more like he's getting the chance to be around the process of his newest baby, um, that he didn't get to experience with Kale. That was interesting. That's his point of view, and can nobody take that away from him. That's how he feels. Now, Kale may say something different, but what can we say about it? Moving on. Okay, so they go back into Brianna's section, and they show Devon taking both of the girls out. I thought that was very, very awesome of him to even include Stella and things like that, because he doesn't have to. And it really shows a lot of growth on his end. He's come a long way, and I would love to see him continue that. Especially for Nova, their relationship, it seems to be a whole lot better. And again, him just taking that initiative to be present in Stella's life as well. Just those little scenes is so cute, and it really is sad that she doesn't have those moments, or that she's not getting those moments with her own father, biological father. It's terrible. And then they show go where Brianna is talking, and she said, well, from um, Stella's grandfather, he actually sent Stella $500, get her something for her birthday and for Christmas. And I thought that was a first step, but you don't want it to just be a monetary thing, even though Brianna has said she feels like, why am I doing all of the work? Y'all, as the fathers, y'all should be involved, not just physically, emotionally, financially as well. Um, that's great that they sent Stella some money, but you also want them to be involved in Stella's life, not just financially. Then they show where Lewis asked for Brianna to meet up with him, and I'm like, okay, it ain't something where you actually had to meet up to discuss. You could have discussed it over the phone and just been done with it, and then just do what you say you're going to do. At the end of the day, you can talk and talk and talk, but show up and do your part. He didn't want the cameras to be there, which that was what was the difference, because the mic was still on. I don't think he knew that, but I'm sure Brianna knew that microphone was still on. So they let her go right on in there, and they got the audio. So, I mean, he was just saying, oh, I'm going to do this, baby steps, baby steps. Great. So I hope it continues, and I hope he does more, not just a FaceTime call. Makes more of an effort to be there in that little girl's life, because it was just super sad to see that through this episode, how it's affecting. It's not just the child, but then you as the parent, or as those people in her life that are around her every day, you have to see that it was terrible. Like, I almost teared up just a little bit on those scenes with Brianna dealing with Lewis and all of that, and with Stella and all that. Um, and for him to even have to ask her, and maybe he knew and he was just asking for the sake of, just asking the conversation, but for him to be like, hey, what's that fanny pack? I'm jumping ahead, but I'm gonna keep it going. Why are you wearing a fanny pack? What's that? And not knowing that that's what her heart monitor kit was in. And it was just like, so you don't even know this about your own child. How interesting. Hopefully he'll change for the better. I really hope so. I'll go ahead and finish with what was happening with that scene. So eventually, Brianna was just very emotional. Even her mom got emotional during that scene um, where they were talking about, what came from the meeting up with Lewis. I mean, he didn't even during that meetup, he never actually asked how she's doing, what's going on with her heart. None of those things from what Brianna said. So it was just they both were very emotional. It was just really hard to watch. Um, but yeah, I just hope he changes for the better and he just does what he's supposed to do for that little girl. All right, so they go over into Jade's scene. Jade and Chloe, they go to meet up with her friend to go take a look at her new home that she purchased and that she renovated. Still, she's still, just saying, hey, I'm gonna also change this, change that, and that's okay, cause girl, that's your house, and you can take your time with it and do what you want to do with it. I thought um, Chloe, she was so funny in one of the scenes. She was like, "Well, there's no TV in here." She was showing her where her room would be. There's no TV or no toys here. I just thought that was too cute. But kids, too cute. I like where we're seeing Jade go from where she started. She's come a long way, and for her to really step in tired, not tired, trying to work, be an entrepreneur, and also take care of your child, father's not present. um at this point we're not seeing that her mom or her dad are around, so it's her friend, and whoever, other individuals she has that will step in and help out with Chloe. For the most part she's doing it on her own, but then you see where she said, I've been saving up for years for this, to provide this for my daughter, security. You know, she'd been saving up to get a home, and I thought that that was pretty cool to know. I had no idea that she was doing that. I thought she was just renting, just to be renting, but no, she was trying to buy a home, and she did, and that's great. Um, let's see. Then they go over into Leah's scene where they're showing her going down to Georgia to help Jalen move to Charlotte. Charlotte, I think. I don't know. Charleston. There we go. Move to Charleston. So once they finish doing that, they bring in the scene where her and the girls, they're all going over to Jalen's new place that he's renting, and he's showing them the place. Jalen pretty much is coming in like, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. Your kids are, I'm involved in their life at this point. Let's do this. He had their picture up, and it was just really, really nice to see that the girls are accepting him. Um, let's see. I already talked about Lewis and all of that, so we're done with them. I believe that was all that they showed when it came to Brianna and Lewis, and that whole Lewis thing. Um, really, in a quick scene, they do show Bar and Ashley meeting up to go get the vaccine, so she went to go get it done. She was very chill about it. Didn't feel no one type of way about it. So good for her. Like again, like I said, they made the decision for their household, and that's what matters. Um, moving on back into Jay's scene, they have her and Chloe. They're heading back to their home, not the newest home, but their home. So they're um, just talking, and then Chloe asks, "Where is Daddy gonna sleep?" And that brought on a really good conversation that she would need um, to be careful of her words that she's saying to Chloe, because it's very clear that she's expecting, or she has that expectation that her dad, once he comes back from Texas, that he's going to be in the new home with them. But for Jade, I mean, she's pretty much just like, we will see what happens with that, because she's like, at this point, I'm almost just kind of gotten used to having my space. Um, but I'm pretty sure when Sean and her he comes back and they figure it out, he's gonna be in the new house. That's my thoughts. Just saying. Um, moving on, so they go to Kale. Kale is flying to Atlanta, so she says that all of the boys are with their dads. Um, then so she's filming something for her, filming some photos. She's taking photos for her podcast, and they bring up, the producer steps in and she brings up Chris, saying or posting about the new baby. The new baby's been born. Kale was very much no. She's like, my lawyer, they told me not to talk about this. I cannot talk about this. I'm not going to talk about it. It's in writing. You can read it if you need to. And I was just kind of slightly irritated, not with Kale, but with the other individuals that were in the room with her. Why do y'all keep asking about this baby that is not hers? And she's made it clear that she doesn't want to talk about it and that she's not supposed to talk about it per the instructions of her lawyer. How messy was that? Like, I felt like it was really messy of them to keep saying that. She pretty much left the room. Um, yeah, that was annoying. So then they hop back over into Leah and they show her, Jalen and the kids. They all go to meet Jalen's family for Christmas. That was really cute to see, that for them to show. I think it's pretty cool how they welcomed them, and it was a holiday, so it was very good energy, beautiful energy. And so, like I said, Jalen is pretty much making it clear, I'm here to say I'm for real. But I'm curious to know, does he have an interest in having children, especially with Leah already having three? Would she even consider starting over again? Have they talked about it? I'm curious. Um, so that was pretty much it for this episode. It wasn't a whole lot going on, just a little bit of something. We'll see what happens moving forward with the season. I have seen that they've already filmed the reunion, so I would love to see what happens there. I do listen to Ashley's podcast, and she's stated that it was a pretty good reunion. So not expecting a whole lot of drama or anything like that. I guess, well, that's from her point of view. She said it was pretty good, so we don't know about everybody else's reaction, but or thoughts, but we'll see. So that is it for this episode review. Again, like, subscribe, comment. I will respond to comments if there's any videos, not videos, but any shows that you would like for me to review. I'll take a look and see if it's something I'm interested in. I have no problem with doing a review. Let me know. And have a good day. Thank you for watching, and bye.